how I escaped my 9 to 5 and replaced my income working a 40-hour week for someone else. Holy moly, never again. In today's video, I'm going to give you all the resources, the information that I done personally to get myself out of a job running my own business, which now gives me purpose, fulfillment, time freedom, financial stability, mental clarity, the ability to make memories with my family on my own terms, and most importantly, I do not have to ask permission for a day off, ever. I have taken control of my life, and I'm going to teach you how to do it in this very short video. But before we get into the crunks of the video, I do want to say another massive shout out to another subscriber of mine. Thanks for supporting, thanks for commenting, I really appreciate it. Now let's get into it, let's start from the beginning. At 20, my son came into my life. I had clarity and perspective of what I was really doing. Like, I found purpose. I wanted to have time freedom and the opportunity to do what I want and have choices and resources at my fingertips, and I was never going to get that being in a 9 to 5. So I had my wake up moment. My son came into my life. I was literally just turned 20, and I was like, Aaron, pull your finger out and channel your energy, your entrepreneurial energy, which some of you might have. And it's super simple. Like, I'm going to talk about things that every human being could do, but we don't because a lot of people are weak. Discipline, sacrificing, delayed gratification, accountability, ownership, consistency, self-educating, the willing to actually do the thing that you're learning, apply, pulling the trigger, accepting failure, not being afraid of rejection. All of these things are a huge part of being successful and getting out of a 9 to 5. So how do you get out of a 9 to 5? Well, obviously you need a business. You need something to replace your income. But number one is you need a reason why. Number two, you remain in a job to float yourself financially. So I remained in my job, which was relatively easy. For those that don't know, I was in logistics previously. I worked a 4 on, 3 off, and I had a late shift. So I started late in the afternoon and I would finish close to midnight. So for me, they were pretty good hours. I've always been an early bird, so I would wake up early in the morning. I would stay at home working for like 4 hours before I had to go to work. I'd go to the gym and then I'd go and do my 10-hour shift. But I would utilize time very well. So I would work in the pockets. Even at work, I would still be working on myself. People seem to think that when you go and do an 8, 10, 12-hour shift for an employer, you know, you just switch off and you just become a mind-numbing individual and you do nothing. That's a great time to still be doing your marketing, scheduling posts, replying to emails. Look, by the book, is that what you should you be doing that? No, baby boomers and goody two-shoes will tell you, you can't be doing that on company time, that's naughty. You shouldn't do that, that's naughty. Oh, whatever. You know, you absolute boffin. Doesn't matter about that. You have the purpose of getting out of the 9 to 5. So you have to execute the things that you need to do, and that is working in the pockets. And then on my break, rather than dithering about, doing whatever, or just watching mind-numbing stuff on social media, I would open up my personal laptop on my break, half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever it was. Sometimes I'd round it up to an hour because I wouldn't take my 2 15-minute breaks, and I'd work for an hour on my laptop. You do that over 4 days, that's 4 extra hours a week that I was able to build my business. Also, to find your passion in a business, you need to try stuff. And I think this is the thing that people are afraid of, is trying stuff and it not working. You're never going to figure it out unless you pull the trigger. You will try one thing, it won't work. You'll try another business model, it won't work. It might work for a little bit and then it fails. But you have to go through a process of trying to make money and learning how it works and falling over, you know, failing fast, failing forwards, until you find the thing that you're really good at and that you have some form of passion in and that you're knowledgeable about, to really sink your teeth in and stick with it. Which leads me on to consistency. Too many people have bought into the whole social media, which I didn't, and I was lucky at the time that I wasn't too focused on marketing at the time. I was more bothered about building the business to bring in clients to replace my income, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a minute. But I wasn't focusing on low value tasks. So when I was at home, I was working in the morning, I was working once I'd finished shift, so I'd do my 10 hours, I'd go home, say hello to the family, and then I'd open my laptop and I'd stay up late for another like 2-3 hours. I'd go to sleep for like 4 or 5 hours, wake up, start working again. I wanted it so badly. And this is where it is like a selection phase. It weeds people out. Like in 2025, you could escape your job and live a life by design, but it is really a selection phase. Are you willing to do what I did? I worked all the weekends, Saturday, Sunday and Monday. Does that mean I worked from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m? No. But did I put in an extra 3-4 hours every Saturday and every Sunday? Yeah, because I was so determined and I wanted out of my job so badly. Not because I hated the job, I actually didn't mind it, but I was so driven to make a success of what I was doing earlier in my days so that I can enjoy life. I'm not comfortable with the thought of working 40 years to then enjoy life when you're in an old, decrepit body. You know, hopefully you look after yourself, but older body, which is not as mobile and as healthy. I want to become as rich and as much time freedom as early as possible to enjoy as much of life and as many years as I can in a healthy body, or as in at least the healthiest body that I can. So I was cash stacking all the time. So I started raising finance in a finance sort of company that I'd built at the time. And I was raising venture capital and like junior debt and senior debt. So I was in something what you call high ticket commissions in investing, right? Or investments, finance. And I was raising a lot of money and I was able to charge big chunks of commission for raising money because it's a skill, raising money, right? And with that money, I was saving into my emergency fund. So I was planning my exit and I realized that not only did I have to have cash flow, which I was aiming towards, because my income in my last job was only about 1,600 or 1,680 quid a month, sometimes like 1,700. So it wasn't like massive money, but we've never had high expenses in our family household. We've always kept it very low. And that's the secret sauce. Never increase your expenditure, but always earn more and you'll be laughing, I promise you. So I was always cash stacking. I was always putting money into my emergency fund, my maintenance fund and my floating fund, and then I had loads of investments after that. Whereas most people, they spend their wage on going out, bills, things that have no return on time invested, no return on any investment whatsoever. So it's just they're constantly living for the weekend. They're working Monday to Friday to live for Saturday and Sunday, and they're stuck in the rat race, right? I was constantly living frugally, like I was saving pretty much all of the money that I could. So I was living on less and investing the rest, ready to leave to go full-time into business and have enough financial comfort that if I needed to float myself and I went through a dry patch of business for like 3, 6, 12 months, I had enough money. And I think when I left my job in my emergency fund at the time, it was something like 11.5 grand in my emergency fund. I think in my maintenance fund, it was close to like 4.5 grand. And then in my floating fund, I probably had like a grand and a half, something like that. But the most important part was that I was putting the time and effort in to nurture my first legitimate sort of business, which could replace my income. And I was replacing, you know, by 23, pushing 24, I'd gone over the 6 figures mark. And I was just cash stacking all of it. And I was just reinvesting that back into my processes and marketing and everything that I needed to get ready. I even ended up getting an office at the time for a while in Mayfair because it was a great place for clients to come and meet me because I was working with investors, right? But the most important thing is I was doing the fundamentals that I needed to do, constantly working on my business. In work, outside of work, the weekends, the bank holidays. I was sleeping less. Now, people really push back at me when I say sleeping less. They go, well, it's not healthy. I would agree sleeping 4 hours for 15 years of your life would not be healthy. But when you're young and able and fit and ready to go and you live a clean life, you eat clean, you drink clean, you take all your vitamins, you really work on your physical and mental health, sleeping 4 hours per night and adapting to that is not unhealthy when you have to do it for 2-3 years. It's really not. Like, do I have to sleep 4 hours a night now? No, I don't. But it was all these things, all these choices and decisions that I decided to commit to that allowed me to be in a position to eventually leave my job. The real secret though, and the golden nugget, is not increasing your monthly expenditure. It's so easy for a lot of people to start earning money, especially the commissions that I was earning. Like, I was earning big commissions. For a lot of people, it would be excitement and the thrill of spending that money and living life like a baller, like being like, oh, I've just earned an extra 10 grand or 15, like 32 grand a month. I'm gonna go out and spend it and I'm gonna look like a baller and I've got all this money, I'll go finance a car or whatever it might be. I was never like that, and that's from my upbringing. Like, my parents have never been big spenders. I come from a very humble background. So it really grounded me to learn that all this extra money that I was bringing in, Aaron, keep stacking it, keep stacking it, keep stacking it. And this is where the confidence came from. Like, this is what I talk about, FU money. I had this sort of inner confidence in my workplace that I was like, I'll keep working here as long as they have me, because I had a good structure. I'll keep working in this place until they literally are trying to push me out, because the money I was earning from my job was just paying my bills. It was sustaining me whilst I was setting up my core business. It was allowing me, and it was funding me to pay for my marketing. It was allowing me to bring on my first team member. So yeah, look, if you're trying to escape your job, the process is so freaking simple. Stay in a job that you can tolerate, that you have good hours in. You work before your job, you work after your job, you work during your job. Again, this is how bad you want it, right? It sounds awful. Some people will be going, oh my God, it sounds awful. But it's not. Like, what's the alternative? You spend 40 years of your life working for someone else, being just a number, being replaceable at any given moment. AI could wipe out your job. You work all the weekends, you reduce the amount of holidays, you cut back on all your expenses, you live like a pauper for 6 to 12 months, you'll get out of a job. That's it. Simple formula. I've just given you all of it. The hardest part you'll probably find is actually instilling the habits and doing the mindset shift of the person you might be now to the person you need to become. And secondly, is actually doing it. Like, go ahead and do it. Don't just watch me. Like, how many of you are actually going to go away now and do what is necessary? Like, how bad do you want it? What sacrifices are you willing to make to live a life of freedom? Because that's what it's about. Again, I've just come away from doing a university talk, talking to students, year 14 and year 15s, about entrepreneurship, money. It's currently 2 minutes past 1 on a Thursday afternoon. I'm just heading home. I'm going to go to the gym. Like, the game has been won for me. I answer to no one. That's when you win. It's not about the amount of money that you have in the bank, believe me. Forget about all these other YouTube videos telling you how to make 10, 20, 30, 40,000, 100,000 a year, 100,000 a month. Forget about that. If you can do what you want, when you want, with who you want, and spend time with your family and make incredible memories and not have to worry about money, you've won, my good friend. You have won the game. You've won the poker game of life. Really, like, that's what it is. So be disciplined, be consistent. The other thing that you might find tricky is kind of maybe just figuring out what business model you actually want to do. That's probably something that will take most time, is the trial and error, but you can't escape that phase. You can't go round it, you can't go over it, you can't go under it. You have to try stuff to figure out if it works and if it doesn't. And you also need to future plan, like the thing that you want to do now, does it survive and thrive now, in a year, 2, 3 years? And my final tip to all of you, do not become stagnant in your education and your business evolution. If you don't evolve and you don't learn something new and implement it to what you're doing within a period of 3 months, or at least quarterly, you'll get left behind. Because I can promise you now, even myself, someone who's incredibly busy, I have to evolve every day and learn new things. Because if I take my foot off the gas and I just stop evolving for 3 months, there's someone else in a similar business as me who will overtake me. So it's possible to leave your job, keep your expenses super low. You know, the average salary that you need to replace is only between $1,500 to $2,000 a month. That's all you need to replace, and then you get 40 hours back a week. Anything on top of that you earn is a bonus, and then you're winning. Then you're winning in life. So look, I hope this helped. Please do like and subscribe. As always, I'm going to start shouting out my subscribers, so leave me a comment on perhaps, I don't know, what you enjoyed. Again, maybe what you want me to talk about in another video. But until next time, my good people, I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.